What's up, guys? We are back with another NECA Toys review, taking a look at the newest batch, no pun intended, of Gremlins figures. And this is a first half of an overall set that they're doing, and this happens to be a Target exclusive release. So the last reveal that they gave us showed that they were going to get the 4 Christmas caroling Gremlins. So that's basically 4 of the same Gremlin, all with different accessories. And they showed originally a 2-pack, but it turned out that that was going to be 2 different 2-packs. So one is kind of a general release, and then we've got this guy here, which is the Target exclusive version. So basically 4 Gremlins that all look the same, but they have different accessories. So you've got these guys here in a familiar style box for Gremlins. For some of maybe the older lines, it's kind of reminiscent of the Spider Gremlins size and style of box. Although this one has a big window this time around. So you've got the kind of Christmas motif, you've got the Gremlins in the window, the Gremlins logo down there on the bottom, and then the back of the package has these 2 particular Gremlins, not the entire 4 set, and then a little bit of a write-up for what's going on in the movie. So you've got that very Christmassy vibe going on, but then you've got great presentation on these figures if you somehow decided to not take them out. But I mean, how could you not want to pull these little guys out? So let's do it. Let's rip them out and take a look. And here they are out of the package, our 2-pack of Christmas caroling Gremlins. So obviously this is a specific thing that NECA is going for. We've seen this figure a couple times already. So we've had the Ultimate Gremlin, we've had the Ultimate Gamer Gremlin. They are the exact same figure. There is no difference here outside of maybe a little bit of paint application difference, but the general figure, aesthetics, all of that is the same. The big thing for this is that we're getting 2 sets of 2 Gremlins, so 4 total, that will make up the 4 Christmas caroling Gremlins that we saw in the movie. And they all have their various accessories that build that scene. So this is all very scene specific, which for me, I really like, because we're getting a lot of weird accessories with this set that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Not to mention the fact that they are able to just add a little bit of clothing to these guys, and figures that I already really enjoy are just different and are cool in a different way now. So we're going to take a look real quick at articulation of these guys, because again, I've already talked about this figure 3 different times now, and it's the exact same situation. So we're going to run through articulation, and then we're going to talk about what's new with these guys. So as far as articulation goes, again, this guy is the exact same figure that you may already have. So the head can look up, and then he can look down. You can swivel it. The neck does move as well to help you move the figure around. The ears do move in and out, and then they also kind of rotate a little bit. The arms can go out. They rotate at the shoulder. You've got a single rotating elbow there, which gives you 90 degrees. And then you've got hinges, and you've got rotation at the wrist. They've got the diaphragm cut, so you go all the way around. So he has pretty good range of motion at that cut. There's nothing at the waist just because of how this body is built. Then you've got ball pegs at the legs, so he can kick outward, forward. He can't really do anything backwards because they have their little tail there, and then you can rotate at the thigh. The legs also have the double knee situation going on, so the knee articulates with a hinge, and then there's rotation. Then you've also got the other hinge with rotation, and then you've got a ball peg down at the foot and ankle. So you get a little bit of rocker, and then you get rotation down there, and then it also acts as a bit of a hinge. So they are pretty well articulated. I don't have any issues with this guy, except for the fact that on, well, both of them, the heads want to pop off a lot more easily than normal. And while it's not necessarily a problem, it's just sort of an oddity, whereas the other figures didn't do that for me. These 2 just pop off a lot more readily than the others. Otherwise, though, you know, the bodies move really well, and I enjoy the way these figures move, and I think the articulation scheme on these guys is great. And then you have the big one for me, really. I mean, it's always the mouth, because there is just so much stuff going on there. We'll talk more about that. But you do, of course, have the very telltale Gremlins articulated jaw. But when it comes down to it, it's all about the looks for me with these figures. And I mean, I'll be honest, I've been on a really big Gremlins kick because of these figures coming out. I have been 100% kind of all hands on deck when it comes to NECA Gremlins stuff. So I'm really excited to be able to have another reason to buy more Gremlins, but also get more accessories, because there's always a way to get more Gremlins, but I want to get different accessories, and that's really what this set's about. It's again about setting that scene, being able to, if you're into building dioramas and stuff, which really isn't my thing, but it's being able to set that scene and have all the stuff that you see in the movie. So you've got, of course, a little bit of different stuff going on here. So not to mention the fact that the figures themselves are incredibly well sculpted and incredibly well detailed and incredibly well painted. You do have other stuff. Now, I will stop and say that while they are incredibly well painted, one of mine does have a paint issue. my gremlin over here on the right is missing the paint above his eyes, which isn't necessarily a big problem for me because it sets him apart. Instead of him being 100% the cookie cutter same combination of paint and sculpt like all the others are, he looks slightly different. And you may not notice it at first. I certainly didn't because I walked out of the store with this, but you've got a little bit of a paint mishap there, which I can't not mention it, but it also really doesn't bother me. The figures, though, do look fantastic. One thing that I do notice that is a little bit different is the paint on the legs. Just the application of paint is a little bit different. The others are a little more brown in comparison to some of the yellow that's going on here. But realistically, the big thing for these figures is how they come out of the box. So just the accessories that they come with. So of course you've got some scarves on here, and these aren't soft goods, these are actually plastic. So one thing that they do kind of do is they do make these figures a little bit heavier than they are normally. And these guys are pretty heavy to begin with, but there is a bit of a chunk of plastic just sitting on their necks and on their heads. It doesn't cause any stability issues or anything, but they certainly are heavier because of it. So you've got this little plaid scarf over here, and it's a free-floating piece because these are just add-ons to an already existing figure. So you've got this guy here, which has the black with the plaid design, and then he's got the kind of toboggan type of hat here, which just clips onto the head. It's not actually a hat, it's just an extra piece that sits on his head. And this guy actually says NECA, so it's one of those little Easter egg things they put in, because I'm pretty sure the hat that this thing has does actually say something, but I'm not sure what it actually says in the movie. So you've got this design here, which basically just form fits around the head and the ears on this guy, and it will hang over top. And then you've got, the white design with the red rim, and then you've got the red ball on the back. So I like the idea here that they aren't necessarily needing to change up the entire figure. They can just sculpt this so that it looks like it's sitting on his head, but then it's, easy to remove, because if you wanted, you could just buy this for 2 more Gremlin figures. And then you've got this guy over here, which has the blue hat, and again, it's the same situation. It just pops on and off. So a lot of sculpt, a lot of detail on both of these, so to again give it that fabric-y, cloth material type of look. And then you've got this red scarf over here, and on this guy, it actually wraps all the way and hangs down on the backside. So they're not the same. They're not the same in any capacity. Different design, different feel, different kind of texture that they're going for. And then of course you've got different colors. So it's again that same figure that we've seen a number of times with a great sculpt. I still can't get enough of the opening mouth. I think they look fantastic when they have their mouths open. But you've got great paint applications. Well, I'm missing some. But you've got great paint, great sculpt, an awesome, gnarly looking figure. But then they give you all this extra stuff to set the scene right out of the box. But of course, there isn't just this stuff. You have to give them something to carol from. So of course NECA has given us one of the key accessories when it comes to building this scene. You've got your book of carols, and it's basically just a card that is folded, and on the inside has got the actual carol that they're singing. And of course in the movie they're singing the Gremlins theme song. So I'm not sure what this is actually supposed to be, but this is of course a much needed accessory, and they can hold it pretty well. It might take a little doing to actually get it to sit in their hands correctly, but once it's there, it really doesn't have any problem staying. And of course, just like I said, along with the clothing that NECA has given us, this is another one of those things that it's kind of a must-have to build up this scene. And that's not the only things they gave us. So they gave us a couple other things as well. These guys are not as fully decked out as every other Gremlin so far, but I think again, because they're building a scene, they're giving us exactly what you expect to get. So you get another Christmas themed accessory. You get a candy cane here, which you can have it hanging out of one of their mouths, and then you've got a gingerbread man cookie here, which is done up with a pretty decent sculpt on it, some paint applications, nothing too crazy, but of course it's got that Telltale NECA kind of look to it. So they come with really everything that I would have needed. I didn't need the candy stuff that they included, but I'm always up for more Gremlin size accessories. Everything we've got going on here though just rounds out this set perfectly, and it just makes me want to get those other 2 so much quicker. So overall, this is a really fun set. Despite the fact that one of my Gremlins is missing a bit of paint over his eyes, I'm really happy with the way these 2 turned out. The added clothing, the hats, really makes these guys kind of stand out from the crowd. Of course, again, like I've said a number of times, it definitely starts to set that scene, and all the accessories that they gave us, especially the books of carols, really ties everything together. I'm already a fan of this particular Gremlin figure, and it's an easy way to get a couple more because the actual actual individual price, it's $40 for the set, is less per Gremlin than if you were buying them individually. Again, you don't get as many Gremlins style accessories this way, but if you wanted a couple more Gremlins, this is an easy way to get 2 more on your shelf, and you get all the accessories to put them into the Christmas caroling scene. It's kind of a win-win if you're a big fan of this stuff, and I really dig what's going on here. So that's going to do it for this look at the NECA Toys Target exclusive Gremlins Christmas Caroling 2-pack. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.